It's always sad to see games getting banned on platforms because it means less people will be able to enjoy most of the time fantastic content, and I'm constantly talking about Sony and Valve unfairly banning games, and now multiple Dungeon Traveler titles are no longer releasing on Steam due to the impossibility of meeting Valve's requirements. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube membership. The PC versions of Dungeon Travelers 2 The Royal Library and the Monster Seal and Dungeon Travelers 2-2 The Fallen Maidens and the Book of Beginnings are no longer planned for release via Steam, the publisher announced. Now headed on over to Twitter where the publisher made this announcement. They said sadly these games will not be able to release on Steam. Steam's review made it impossible to pass while keeping the core appeal and high standards we hold for these titles. We apologize to all of the players who were still looking forward to a Steam version of DT2-2. Now, this is actually a situation that's been going on for quite a while. We recently have, heard the hype behind this. There are several articles that went up last month and the month before talking about this release, and at that point, we didn't know that it was actually going to be canceled. But as you can see, this was one of them. Dreams Can Come True, the complete Dungeon Traveler series, is coming to PC, and now we know that that is not going to happen, but it has been planned for quite a while. But what kind of thickens this is that last year, in 2022, right around the same time actually, we heard that Dungeon Travelers 2 Steam release was apparently blocked by Valve. It says it looks like a potential Dungeon Travelers 2 Steam release has been banned by Valve. Sometimes Valve will, deny approval to a game looking to be listed. It happened to a bunch of different games that I've, talked about, but it says back in 2015, when Dungeon Travelers 2 originally launched, Western publisher Atlas confirmed that the game would have 4 of its images censored. These images include sexually suggestive material and artwork that skews dangerously close to depicting underage girls. The game's Western launch contained cleaned up versions of these images, so Dungeon Travelers 2 is a game that is not unfamiliar with censorship. So yes, back in 2015, the base game was censored when it was brought to the West, but from what we heard last year, they were actually trying to get it released on Steam, but it seemed like it was still a bit too suggestive, and we've heard nothing about it over the past year, so one would assume that they were actually trying to alter it and censor it in order to meet these guidelines, because of course the more platforms you release your title on, the more people who can see it and who can potentially buy it. When it comes to situations like this, we unfortunately never get a lot of information on it. All we are being told is that Steam's reviews have made it impossible to pass while keeping the core appeal, so it does seem like they probably submitted it a few times with a bit of content removed each time, and Steam just continuously rejected it. And this is something that they are known to do. They are known to be very hard to work with. We've heard this from many developers in the past, but just look at all of the different games that have been banned on Steam in the past few years. This isn't an anime game, but still a rather popular one. Steam refused to sell pickup artist game Super Seducer 3, even though the other 2 were already on the platform, so it made 0 sense. Then we actually had Chaos Head Noah, which was banned, but Valve actually decided to reverse course on this, which people were very happy about, and this happened in 2022. So, a lot of us thought that maybe they were changing their ways. Maybe they were actually going to be a bit easier on developers, because let's be honest, when it comes to Dungeon Travelers, there's content much more graphic than that on Steam. I mean, there's full-on hentai on Steam, but of course, a game like this is being targeted, and we've seen it too many times where games are unfairly banned or forced to be censored. We also had dark visual novel classic Full Metal Demon Muramasa banned from Steam. This caused chaos because so many people were so excited about this, but Jest had announced that the English language release just could not be, launched on this platform. They said, "We at Just have always been transparent with Valve, ensuring the quality of our games does not suffer when we must adjust content to fit the requirements of Steam. We hoped we could resolve their concerns amicably and ultimately deliver the game to as many fans waiting on Steam, but Valve is firm on their decision." So that did not end up releasing on Steam. It doesn't seem like it ever will, which is just so sad to hear about. But of course, people are on social media and are voicing how unhappy they are with this situation. There are other alternate ways to purchase these games if you want to support them, and they will be linked down below. But this post did blow up quite a bit. I mean, it's got over 155,000 views. People are saying things like, take out that ridiculous DRM and I'll buy it from your store. Steam has DRM in it too, though, so there is that to point out. Put it on Just or GOG would take it because I sure as hell ain't using the DRM hellscape known as Jorin, and people are saying things like same. And, unfortunately, in a situation like this, we can't be picky, right? We are upset that it's not on Steam. Steam does have DRM, so, supporting it on this other site doesn't really make that much of a difference. But at the same time, they clearly have limited ways they can get it to consumers. So you either can support them and, yes, unfortunately deal with a bit of DRM, or you could not support them. But then why would you have purchased it on Steam in the first place? Now, of course, Valve almost never reverts their decisions. They almost never change their minds and go, "We're sorry, you know what, you can put your title on this platform," because they just kind of view it as, hey, if you're not going to change your game for us, why are we going to work with you? And I don't expect this situation to change, sadly. I don't think that a bunch of backlash is really going to make the situation any better for these developers and publisher. It is just a sad situation all around because the Dungeon Traveler series is very fun and I would like for more people to know about it. But yes, at this point, we do know that these titles are not able to release on Steam because their review process has made it impossible to pass. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.